Hello my good friends, welcome to the channel Digimon Explained. My name is Jesse and in this video we're going to be discussing what I would call, at the one side, perhaps the weirdest Digimon out there, but also one of the most mysterious one, because many, and I mean many people really want to know how that Digimon would ever further be developed. I'm talking about ToyAgumon, a puppet type Digimon. And when a Digimon is part of the puppet type, you can already ask plenty of questions. And I warn you already that most will be left unanswered because they are the type of Digimon that have no common physical traits nor a common history. What do I mean by that? You see, there is this ancient legendary warrior called Ancient Greymon, the most powerful Greymon out there. It chose the dragon type Digimon to inherit its flame powers, and dragon Digimon gained the ability to use fire via Ancient Greymon, and as we theorized, through the year and through mutation and whatnot, dragon type Digimon developed into different types, leading to some dragon Digimon living either underwater, some in the ground, many who can't even use fire anymore. You get the picture. And just like that, many Digimon inherited powers from the 10 legendary warriors. However, puppet type Digimon didn't inherit anything. Although, and this is a bit of a stretch, some theories tell that puppet Digimon are considered a sort of mutation from plant Digimon. And the connection between Puppet Digimon and Plant Digimon would be none other than Puppetmon, a Digimon built from the body of a cursed Cherrymon. Puppetmon carries the name of an entire type. It is created thanks to the existence of a plant-type Digimon, Cherrymon, and Cherrymon itself, as a plant-type Digimon, inherited the power of woods from ancient Troyamon. Take the theory with a bag of salt though, because when you look at the designs of all puppet-type Digimon, it's a bit hard to tell if they are truly inheritors of ancient Troyamon's powers. Heck, many puppet-type Digimon aren't even using wood-based attacks. And other theories claim that puppet Digimon are those who are either controlled or possessed by some sort of controller of some kind. It can be anything from a spirit inside it or a certain code it follows to no end. The list of theories is non-exhaustive. We can keep theorizing about puppet type Digimon without actually finding out what they truly are. Truth is, not even the developers might truly know what puppet type Digimon are all about. But this brings us to ToyAgumon, said to be a unique Digimon whose entire body is made up of unique plastic blocks, which enable it to rearrange its body to linking up with fellow ToyAgumon and create larger forms. Rumors tell that a child playing on the internet created this Digimon by imitating Agumon's appearance. But pay attention, ToyAgumon has nothing to do with Agumon whatsoever. They are totally different Digimon with some similarities. The appearance is one thing, but ToyAgumon has also been seen using Agumon's pepper breath, where it spits flame breath from its mouth to attack the opponent. Aside of that, they are quite different. But how come these similarities exist? Well, perhaps the data which falls under the name Agumon got partially copied, but because we are talking about ToyAgumon, it also became its own entity with a different type and totally different appearance. In all cases, unlike the confident Agumon, ToyAgumon does have a cowardly side, and its blocks will also fall apart into pieces when it is surprised. Doesn't mean it would be dead though. See, Digimon can continue to exist long after its body has rotted away so long as its Digicore remains unharmed. But this also means that the Digicore is a point of failure for the Digimon, as the Digimon will immediately cease functioning if they lose their Digicore. Now, despite its cowardice, ToyAgumon does possess a righteous heart that doesn't condone evil, and it loves children with whom it enjoys communicating with over the net. You could pretty much see that as its purpose, to entertain kids. Before explaining a possible champion Digivolution for ToyAgumon, we are going to talk about its 3 other variants first. When we follow the Digimon Frontier continuity, ToyAgumon resides in Toy Country, a floating island populated by toys, candy and carnival rides. And ToyAgumon initially played with children, but they were influenced by Cherrybimon, which led them to turn evil to become ShadowToyAgumon, a ToyAgumon variant which gained a desire to go to the human world to take revenge on children for discarding them. So, according to ShadowToyAgumon's story in Digimon Frontier, it got influenced by Cherrybimon. However, when you look at its biography, it was in fact infected by a computer virus within the network, turning it into a toy that would bully children instead. As it became a dark version, some might believe that it got infected by the mysterious dark secretion known as the Black Digitron. There is a possibility, but it hasn't been confirmed. On top of that, those who are under the influence of the Dark Digitron tend to be different than their original version. ShadowToyAgumon is still the same. It is simply an Agumon built out of black Lego blocks with a similar body to that of ToyAgumon. A body enabling it to rearrange itself by being linked to other ShadowToyAgumon and create larger forms. Aside of the black color, there isn't really a difference between ToyAgumon and ShadowToyAgumon. They have the same ways of attacking and pretty much are exact copies of one another. Now, ToyAgumon does have another variant called ClearAgumon, a ToyAgumon built out of translucent clear plastic Lego blocks. Translucent in this context means Lego blocks which allows light to pass through. While also looking exactly like ToyAgumon, it also has a similar story to it in the sense that it was also created by a child. You see, ClearAgumon is a subspecies of ToyAgumon and is a very rare Digimon because it is difficult to find. In fact, it has been estimated that the likelihood of doing so is 1,000th that of finding a ToyAgumon with whom they share similar personality traits. ToyAgumon is, let us say, Digimon's version of a shiny Pokemon, with some of them having a finding rate of 1 in 500 and others even having a rate of 1 in 4,000, which leads to the funniest reactions when one comes across one. To finish, ToyAgumon was said to be somewhat of a coward, and ClearAgumon is no different. However, it does also possess a heart of justice that cannot turn a blind eye to evil. Just like there is a ClearAgumon who is a ToyAgumon made out of semi-invisible blocks, there's also a similar version for ShadowToyAgumon, namely named L-ToyAgumon, and no one knows what the L in its name stands for. Some think it stands for Lego ToyAgumon, others call it LiToyAgumon, with Li being a reference to light, as in Light ToyAgumon, but regardless of the name, its story is different than that of the other variants. Not unlike ToyAgumon, L-ToyAgumon are the remnants of the data of an Agumon that has fused with an educational software, and now they irradiate light from their blocks and are very biased towards what they consider righteous. And I love that they referred to the educational software because there is another very educated Agumon variant that I actually never really mentioned on a video, I believe. An Agumon who is called Agumon Expert, a genius Agumon that has a doctorate in digital monster studies from the Digital World Academy and has its own support called ToyWarGreymon Assistant, a hard-working ToyWarGreymon. I like that they tell that Agumon Expert has a PhD and that I wrote on my channel banner that this channel is the right space to help you, the viewer, to get a PhD in Digimon history, genetics and biology. So in a way, it's as if Agumon Expert was my type of partner Digimon. But anyway, we'll get to Agumon Expert in another video because I like it and would love to shed some light to it. I believe that we have come to the most important part of this video. We are now well aware of the 4 different ToyAgumon variants out there, but what about its Digivolution path? That is actually an area that was completely left unexplored by the Digimon developers. We can guess a few Digimon that could be suitable candidates, but we can agree unanimously that this area is mostly left unexplored, and because of it, we are also going to take a look at the best fan arts out there to help us imagine how a ToyAgumon Digivolution would look like. In the Twitter page of L-Poyomon, you can find a fan-made Digimon called Nazomon, a Digimon that almost looks like a turtle, which is a reptile, just like Agumon is. The difference between Nazomon and an actual turtle is that it has a shell made out of the Rubik's Cube. I'm convinced that we're talking about quite a suitable Digivolution for a ToyAgumon, to be honest, that is, if Nazomon isn't a rookie Digimon to say the least. I like it because at the end of the day, ToyAgumon is not an Agumon, so you might expect it to take the route of, let us say, ToyGreymon, MetalGreymon and ToyWarGreymon, but what if the emphasis was more on the word Toy instead of Agumon? That means that the route it would take would focus more on tools like toys, things that serve as means of entertainment. So Nazomon would make total sense. And I like that it didn't just remain a Digimon made out of blocks, but it actually started growing real limbs. The limbs of a reptile known as the turtle, and Agumon is also a reptile, so it's pretty fitting. Nazomon could be an interesting champion Digivolution for ToyAgumon, even if we are talking about a fan-made Digimon, whose author, by the way, can be supported by those who wish to do so. The link towards the page is in the description box. There is another fan-made Digivolution for ToyAgumon called PatchGreymon, although to be fair it would work better as an armor Digivolution, and what I like a lot about this form is that it gained a big background story. In fact, a background story so rich that I decided to just read it out loud. The following was written about PatchGreymon. In the early days of the digital world, a young man named Koji Sakata created a virtual pet toy as a gift for his younger sister. From this device, Agumon came to life and became his partner Digimon. For years, the duo went on various adventures and kept order within the digital world. However, Koji gradually began to grow wary. As many times as he and Agumon saved the digital world, just as many threats would return, and the physical world he would go home to was becoming less and less hopeful, from international conflicts to its Digimon-inspired toy company failing, and even his sister dying from a chronic illness. Fed up by the misfortune both worlds brought him, Koji sought to take full control over the digital world in order to create a weapon to end all wars, believing that the only way to achieve peace was by destroying anything that appeared to disrupt it. This led him down a dangerous path, hunting down data to combine with Agumon to create Chimeramon and eventually Millenniummon. With the help of the Digidestined, Koji realizes his error and ultimately saves his partner from the reality-breaking will of Millenniummon. However, things became very complicated between the two. The experiments left Agumon's data permanently corrupted in addition to the destruction Koji caused, preventing Koji's Agumon from being able to evolve naturally. Their relationship was even more damaged. The fact that the two got back on speaking terms months later is a miracle. In order to make amends, Koji sought out a group of Digimon called the Armored Guard, who have up to this point led the resistance against Koji. Needless to say, warming up to them was even more difficult than warming up to his partner Digimon. But after many trials, tribulations and reparations, Koji finally convinced the Armored Guard to help him fix Agumon's corruption. While they couldn't truly cure Koji's partner, they were able to bestow them the Digimental of Kindness, allowing Agumon to armor Digivolve into PatchGreymon, a plush version of Greymon made more powerful with the resolve needed both for Koji to make up for his wrongdoings and for Agumon to forgive him. I think that it is quite an interesting story and quite an interesting Digimon too. It might be a bit challenging to connect its story to that of ToyAgumon, but considering that they are both puppet Digimon, I think it could make sense for a ToyAgumon to digivolve into PatchGreymon, and maybe even armor digivolve into it. But I think it would be more fitting for an Agumon who would armor digivolve by using the Egg of Kindness, considering that it doesn't officially have one. You can find the link towards the page explaining PatchGreymon in the description box. An official Digimon that could be a very fitting champion Digivolution for ToyAgumon would be Omekamon, who is also made out of Lego. The stories of both Digimon already seem to be quite related. For example, just like ToyAgumon, Omekamon was also born from the data of a certain computer's design drawing. The biggest difference is that ToyAgumon, at least somewhat, knows what it is, while Omekamon doesn't. So for now, it decided to simply dress as an Omnimon, otherwise known as Omegamon. That is even why it is called Omekamon itself instead of Omegamon, but both have nothing in common. On top of that, Omekamon fights by using a pen it carries on its back, which it found within a certain computer's art software. And in combat it fires off its pen like a rocket, mostly annoying other Digimon by staining their body. A special Digimon, not just in design but also in basically everything it does. But at least it is a champion level Digimon we can connect to ToyAgumon. Unfortunately, I can't really give ToyAgumon an ultimate level Digivolution, which belong to the official existing Digimon. And those ultimate level Digimon created for ToyAgumon by fans weren't always good looking enough to motivate me to show you. There is however one drawing that I found extremely interesting, Technodramon. It still has Lego parts making its body, except that it now became more of a dinosaur type. Amazing design with the Lego skull, stacking cups for a tail, the batteries. It really looks like a proper ultimate Digivolution for ToyAgumon, and one that can actually be seen as serious? Because all ToyAgumon are in a way or another a bit deemed as, well, not necessarily a joke, but at least not taken that seriously because they are toys, obviously. And now it's only became this dinosaur with a relatively dark color and intimidating appearance. I'm wondering how Technodramon is going to fight though. What would be its offensive capabilities? I just hope it's not going to throw batteries or something. Don't forget that Agumon is also a puppet type Digimon and it was seen using dark energy, and overall Agumon was seen as a big threat, so I'm wishing Technodramon the same vibe. And you know what? Just because I think that puppet type Digimon are somewhat seen as underdogs, I really want them to be as threatening as possible and taken more seriously. They can still remain their somewhat funny appearance, like Agumon being some guy in a monkey suit, or Technodramon who is a dinosaur Digimon but with batteries and Lego aspects to it, and still, the unexpected would be that despite these appearances, they would still have a crazy power output. It would seem so unexpected and unpredictable. Anyway, the link towards Technodramon is in the description box. To finish, we're going to take a look at some ideas for a ToyAgumon's Mega level. Again, there aren't many, probably because it is ToyAgumon we're talking about, but still, the few out there are quite interesting. There's one that can be found on DeviantArt, a ToyWarGreymon that was made by an author with the name 1.2. For reasons I don't know, ToyWarGreymon really looks like a threat. It looks dangerous, despite having some Lego parts to it. It adds up to the charm, to tell you the truth. And I don't know if it was the intention of the author to not give it legs, but quite frankly, I like it even more like that. I want Digimon to look as unique as possible and not just straight variants from one another. Oh, and I just noticed that ToyWarGreymon looks to also be missing a horn. Can it be because of a battle? I don't know, but very interesting design to say the least. I really love this version for a ToyAgumon Mega because it looks like a ToyAgumon who didn't want to be seen as some background character of some sorts. Now it looks like a warrior capable of contributing to any cause, may it be good or evil. What are your opinions for ToyWarGreymon? The link towards the author is in the description box. Make sure to leave your comments in the comment section. And there's also another Mega level form created by fans for ToyAgumon, one who is called Gunpla Tyrannomon, a fan-made Mega level Digimon normally made for ToyAgumon, but because there are so many Greymon variants out there already, people had enough of it and wanted to give Tyrannomon more love, which I totally understand. It's quite crazy when you think about the many Greymon variants out there, different modes included, but normally this Digimon was meant to be ToyAgumon's Mega level form. And it was given a more superhero type of look, which is actually a good thing as ToyAgumon was one who loved playing with children and being straight up good. And just like many Mega level Digimon with this form, ToyAgumon got a more humanoid form. There may not be that many ideas for ToyAgumon, but the few ideas out there do give me the wish to see a bit more for ToyAgumon, a bit more respect, and obviously also for its 3 other variants. And I would say that you shouldn't take ToyAgumon so lightly just because it is a toy. And remember back then when I watched the horror movie Chucky, it's a little toy, but it did scare me like crazy. So imagine something like that would be used as an inspiration for ToyAgumon or another puppet Digimon if you please. Wouldn't it be something? Again, puppet Digimon have lots of potential, I will keep saying that. Hi guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved finally going over the ToyAgumon line and give it some more love. And really, the Digimon is much more interesting than I would have had thought initially, but how can people build their opinions when ToyAgumon is constantly left in the shadows? This reminds me, we also discussed SnowAgumon thoroughly in a previous video. SnowAgumon is also a confirmed Digimon, but one that wasn't really given another Digivolution line. So we went through it and it was quite interesting. If you haven't seen it already, the link towards it is in the description box. You know guys, there is lots to be discussed about just Agumon alone. In fact, Agumon could even make its own playlist because there simply are so many forms and modes and variants. And I'm not even done discussing Agumon. But anyway, what are your opinions about ToyAgumon and its variants? Let us know in the comment section, and please tell us more about your ideas about an eventual story for ToyAgumon, or maybe theories, or maybe your ideas about puppet type Digimon and their origins. Let loose in the comment section. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'd like to be more active on that platform someday, but I'd need some more motivation, and I'm sure your support over there will be very helpful for it. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe if you haven't already, and in case you are new, know that all videos are placed in various Digimon playlists on this channel, playlists which are always updated, that way you can catch up on newer and older videos.